All right, here we are, everyone. So, everyone out there, this is what you wanted. It is the evening of Tuesday, the 20th of February, 2024. And tonight is a night where we are literally going to just hang out and do whatever you guys want, because tonight was an open night. Originally, we had a plan for tonight. The plans, basically kind of fell through over the course of the week. And I could have done anything tonight. I told you guys, I'm down to play this game. I'm down to play that game. I'm down to do this. We even had a poll, and the winner of the poll was just hang out. And what's happened is recently there's been a lot more discussion around the fact that I think a lot of people wish they had more time to just interact with me without a game going on, taking my attention away. For example, there's actually been distinct streams over the last several months where everyone shows up to my podcast, talks to me during the podcast, interacts, supports the podcast, and then I start playing the game, and the whole stream goes dead. We lose viewers, we lose engagement, we lose support, everything just goes, why is that? And I've asked for feedback, and people are like, a lot of people are here to interact with you. They just want to hang out with you rather than focus on gaming. As I'm getting older, I'm learning that there's a lot of people who are here more for me than the games. Not everyone. Certainly there's people who show up to watch me play certain games, but there is a group who want to just hang out. And I'm like, if that's what you guys really want, cool. If you remember, this is something we used to do over when I used to be on Twitch TV a lot, before I had a daily podcast. We would have night streams where we would just hang out, chill with Phil, right? And so that's kind of where it originated, but that was many, many years ago. And then when I came over to YouTube as a full-time streamer, I started doing the podcast. First it was the pre-stream podcast, then it became the Level 1 podcast. And since we have that large segment in the morning every day, I figured people didn't want this kind of stuff anymore. But come to find out, that's not the case. People are like, well, the podcast has segments, right? You got your schedule segment, you got the news segment, you got your Phil's Day Off segment, you got other stuff. We'd rather have something where we just hang out and talk. And I'm like, all right, if that's really what you want, let's do it tonight. Let's see what you guys want to chat about. So that's really it. Like, there's nothing else to this stream. There's no ulterior motive. This is not a fundraiser. This is not, we're trying to solve an issue and we had to have a emergency late night stream to figure that out. It's nothing like that. It's just people want to hang out. I'm willing to hang out with all of you. All right. Already, thank you to the people who already early contributed. I appreciate that. All right. So let's start. Hiseo, 33 months as a member at the super supporter level. He says, I'm ready to enjoy a chill stream with some drinks in hand. I had my coffee before the stream, and it's a little early for me to be drinking. It's 7:18 p.m. I might, maybe if I have a drink later tonight with my wife, that's one thing. But I probably am not going to be drinking liquor right now. So I just got my filtered water in my thermos. Is all that is. It's filtered, not Brita. It's the other one. God, I can't remember what it's called now. The one that Pure, P-U-R, Pure. It's a pure filtered water in a little thermos there. That's what I drink on my late stream. So, and by the way, I was just saying to my audience before we begin, because I'm going to start answering questions, it's a great opportunity to do this tonight, and the reason really being, tomorrow on the podcast, we got major things to talk about in gaming news. We've got a Nintendo Direct going on in the morning, and Elden Ring is going to have its very first ever trailer preview of its upcoming DLC, Shadows of the Erdtree, overnight as well. So we will have gaming-related things to talk about in the morning. So it makes a lot of sense to do this tonight, so that way tomorrow we can focus on the gaming stuff and not worry about, oh no, we ran out of time. So there you go. All right, so let's see. If you guys want to chat, ask me a question or whatever, tag me in the chat at DSPGaming. Any contributions that come in, I'm going to shout out and address those as well. So let's see what you guys have on your minds tonight. Good evening, RAC says, hope your night's going well. So far, so good. It's good, relaxing, chill weather outside right now. A good, kind of cool air breeze coming through. What's up, No Sleep Real Vibes? Good evening. How you doing, man? Dabhan says, I don't get the hype for the Elden Ring stuff. It'll look like the regular Elden Ring. People need to relax. Well, here's the thing. I think the reason people are excited is because, number one, there hasn't been any new Elden Ring content in 2 years. Elden Ring came out 2 years ago, if you can believe it. And it's a great game. People loved it. It was the best-selling FromSoft game, right? And people were expecting that they were going to have the DLC right away. And that didn't happen. It's been 2 whole years. And everyone's now like, well, what happened, right? Even me, I've started a second run and everything. And like, it'd be nice if they had new content. Now, you're right. Do I believe that they will actually have brand new gameplay content? But likely it'll be, they're going to show the new dungeons, some new bosses, maybe a new weapon or two, a new spell or two, right? But you're right. It's not going to be like, oh, they redesigned the game. Look at all this brand new shit. Now you can fly on a flying Pegasus horse and shoot lasers out of your butthole as you spin in the air and decapitate enemies. It's not going to be like that. You're right. It's going to look like Elden Ring. But people are excited. I am too. I would like some new FromSoft gameplay. Like, even last year, I was craving it, so we did, you know, the first 2/3 of a second run. Then we put it on hiatus. Then I played Lies of P, and Lies of P was really good. And that was like, wow, gave you the bug back. Like, when's FromSoft doing it again? And now they're going to do it again. So I get the hype. I understand it. Is it super hype like a new game from FromSoft? No. But at the same time, to get more content in Elden Ring is pretty cool. So I am looking forward to that. Good evening, Avarice. Tub says chicken nuggets or tenders. I mean, if you have the choice, you obviously go for tenders, right? But it depends. Like, if you're talking like, you go to Popeyes and you get your amazing gourmet chicken tenders. If you're talking like in the freezer, the grocer's freezer or whatever, they're all the same. Like, chicken nuggets and tenders are the fucking same if you buy them at a grocery store, right? It doesn't matter. It probably tastes exactly the same. But if you're talking like fast food, yeah, I would go for the tenders. Clay JT says, what's better, Baldur's Gate 3 or Elden Ring? Well, here's the thing. It depends on your perspective. Are you an Elden Ringer? Or are you a Baldarian die roller? 20-sided die roller, right? I don't know. If the Elden Ringers all stood up in a big army with their hands above their heads like this, and then the Baldur's Gators ran up with their dies and they were shaking them like this and started rolling them, who would win? I don't know. That's a tough question. You might actually create a big black hole that sucks everyone in, destroys all of reality. I'm not sure. Slayer, good to have you here tonight. I missed your entire message. It just scrolled off the screen. Sorry, but I saw that you were here tonight. Did I hear about a new Xbox console coming out in 2028? They're just targeting a new console, and they said they want it to be new tech, but there's no actual new console to speak of yet. Is salami a legit pizza topping? I've never had actual salami on a pizza. I've had pepperoni of various kinds on a pizza, like regular and spicy, but I've never had salami on a pizza. I'm sure it could be a pizza topping, but I've never had that. Slayer says, did you see the comments I posted on Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth? Yes. Yes. I've completely forgotten about Revolve Bar. I haven't returned once, right? So I don't have any of the drink links or anything unlocked in Like a Dragon. I haven't gone back. You're right. Like, I think for both Kiryu and for Tomi, their links are like up to over level 30 friendship links. And I think that now Shitose is like 20 something. So if I went back there, I'd probably get multiple levels of upgrade to make combat better. I need to do that at some point. Will I ever continue my Magic run in Elden Ring or restart? I guess it really depends on what we learn about the DLC. Because we have to figure out, where does the DLC activate, right? Once we know that, then we can say, oh, well, in the Magic run, I was already there, right? Or I have to go further in the Magic run, or is it early in the game, and in that case, you want to start another build? We don't know. I'm down to continue the Magic run at some point. I've been down for almost a year. We suspended it in May of last year, but then Street Fighter 6 came out, and that, like, took out all my time from the summer onward. But I'd be down to continue it if people wanted that. What is my least favorite Italian food? What is my least favorite Italian food? That would be a hard question. There's probably certain kinds of pasta I don't like as much. Like when I think Italian food, I typically think of like marinara sauce, something red sauce. They have other sauces that aren't like that. Like, they have butter or wine sauce or Alfredo sauce. I prefer red sauce to those, even though I'll have those every once in a while. Like, I think a good chicken marsala is really good, but I would prefer to have a red sauce over that. So it's not that I don't like those dishes, I just don't like them as much. Or a white pie. You know, if they have the white pizza pies. My mom loves a white pie with broccoli and onions. That's like one of her favorite kinds of Italian pizza to get. A white pie with broccoli and onions. I don't like that. I like it with sauce. I like a red pie. I would never want just a white pie. So maybe those would be the things that I would pick. Okay. Let's see here. I received a $10 tip. Let's see here. So the tip is from someone named Cody. I said, I know you don't watch wrestling anymore. WWE's current top star is finishing the story. Is finishing your story going on a honeymoon with Kat, or maybe having a conversation with John Rambo? First of all, let's address a few things, okay? We have already addressed all of my past with John Rambo and all of that. That stuff is long in the past. There's no lingering stuff there. That's been dealt with, talked about. It's done, okay? There's zero desire for me to go back and talk to someone who I have not spoken to now in almost 9 years, who has moved on with their life, has no internet presence, literally has made zero effort to ever reach out to me and talk to me again. No, I don't have any desire to talk to John Rambo again. I wish him well. I hope he has a great life, but doesn't affect me in any way anymore, right? Do I want to go on a honeymoon with my wife? Oh, of course I do. I mean, I'd be crazy to say no. Of course, I would love to one day be able to go on a nice trip with Kat and enjoy and do what we should have done when we got married 5 years ago. Because, yes, we're going on our 5th wedding anniversary this April. And we haven't done anything really together since we got married. That was the last thing we actually did together outside of just going out locally. We haven't done anything. You know, so many things have changed since our wedding. You know, COVID kind of rocked everything. Inflation destroyed stuff, you know, and it just so happens, you know, all these life things going on and we just can't do anything. So, yes, we would eventually like to go on a honeymoon. Is that the end of my story? Finish the story? No. My story is probably, you know, in the middle, right? Midlife. My story is in the middle. I got a ways to go. A lot of adult light left to do fun stuff and hang out with you guys and do different kinds of content and do many, many things with my family. We are not near the end of the story by any means. Okay? So there you go. Thank you for the tip. Let's see here. Did I see the Eddie character released for the Tekken update? It's Eddie Gordo. It's Eddie Gordo from Tekken 3 and a million other Tekkens. You know, doesn't really interest me that much because I already know the character. I already know he's a flippy, kicky character. He used to be the spam. He was the original kick spam character. I take that back. Bayek was the kick spam character from Tekken 2. And then in Tekken 3, it was either Huarang or Eddie Gordo. But Eddie Gordo was the worst with that kick spam, just mash buttons and get away with it kind of a deal. So, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I've seen it. I'm not excited or anything. Do I know about the co-op game Overcooked? I heard about it. People have mentioned it since Kat and I are eventually, you know, going to be looking for other co-op games to do. Then the game Overcooked has been presented as an option, and I'm sure we will look into it. I don't know anything about it, though. I've never played it. Do I feel the fabled midlife crisis coming? No, I told you, I'm the anti-midlife crisis. What does that mean? It means most people, when they hit a midlife crisis, they hit the age of 40, which I already passed that. But they hit the age of 40, and when they hit the age of 40, they look at their life and they feel miserable. Because they're locked into a dead-end job or something they don't do for employment. They're with a family, and maybe they feel like I'm trapped because now I have like a family with kids. I'm married, and I don't really like that. Or there's parts of it they don't like, and they feel like they're trapped. Oh, no, I have the family van car instead of the nice car I always wanted. I don't live in the nice house I wanted. Instead, I live in this, again, house that's maybe good for the family. Stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's when you have the midlife crisis. And then you have the, you know, the person at the middle of their life. I got to go act like I'm a young kid again. I got to go splurge money on a sports car, right? And I got to completely change my lifestyle. I'm going to act like I'm a young hip guy or something like that. I don't have that. I have the opposite. Literally, right now in my life, this midlife is better than when I was younger. When I was younger, I did not like my life. I suffered from depression. I hated who I was. I hated everything about it. And now that I'm older in the middle of my life, this is the best I've ever enjoyed my life. So it's the complete opposite. How could I have a midlife crisis when I'm loving now my life more than I had when I was younger, right? So no, you know, it's not, for me, it's the complete opposite of people who go through that, you know? That's right. Life has a mid-fill crisis. That's absolutely correct. There you go. Dark Gaming says, I'm waiting for you to become a hip-hop star like you were destined for. That's right. On stream every night with my my baseball cap curved to the side, you know, a big grills, a big chain hang, all the gaudy rings on my hands, and I'm sitting here in like a big hoodie with all kinds of, you know, graffiti designs on it. This is DS Philium coming to you live from the streets of Seattle. Here we go. The rebranding begins. Clay JT says people who hit 50 and then they get frosted tips. Exactly. If you haven't noticed, I mean, the only thing I've changed is my wardrobe because people have asked me to. They're like, you know, you're 40 years old, you're wearing gamer shirts. Like, I guess it makes sense. I've been wearing the same gamer shirts for 10 years. So now I'm wearing just clothes that I had. And it's like, oh, you look normal now. Like, yeah, I always was normal. Like, this is what I actually wear. I don't wear gamer shirts all day. I just wear them when I'm on stream, you know? Let's see. I don't know anything about Ip Man movies now. What would my rapper name be? Philly Blunt. Devin, we literally just talked about the Elden Ring DLC, like moments ago. You must have missed it. So, Kiryu does not have drink links. It's for Tomi and Chitose. Okay. Got it. Knocked, no one has any clue what you're talking about, including me, so you could stop repeating that in the chat now. Chill Phil. Maybe Chill Phil, Chili Philly. I've never tried Nutella rolled cookies. No, I've had Nutella, and it's delicious, but I never had it in a cookie. Cat and Jasper are great. They're downstairs relaxing. What is my favorite gaming genre? I don't have one. There's many genres that I enjoy. I have favorites within genres, but I don't have a favorite genre overall because I like variety. Much like with food, if I just did the same kind of game all the time and said, oh, it's my favorite, I'd actually not like it anymore. I get bored of it. I like variety. So if I eat pizza today, then tomorrow I don't want pizza. Tomorrow I want ramen. And then the next day maybe I want curry, right? So the same thing with my games. So today I'm playing a platformer. Tomorrow I want to do a fighting game. Now I want to do RPG. That's what keeps things going and makes it not boring. I don't have a favorite genre because of that. All right, Jade. Yeah, Jade, I know. I know that you weren't down for... You're not really into Balder's Gate. You know, you're waiting for the return of Like a Dragon. So, hang out with us tonight if you feel like it. If not, you know, Like a Dragon tomorrow night. What's going on, Dark Maggot? Good to see you tonight. Day's going good. My day is going well. It was a good day of Baldur's Gate 3 today. Great plot progress. We're now firmly into Act 3, which is good stuff going on. It's very different from Act 2. I had a good time with it. Dinner was fine. It was hot dogs and flavored rice. Very basic because my wife worked today. That is exactly the plan, Slayer. When we play Like a Dragon tomorrow night, major side quest and story advancement, I'm not doing any more grindy, time killer stuff at this point. We're going to be doing everything kind of story interested. So that'll be good tomorrow. Yeah, I heard that's happening now. So Dark Maggot says, I just bought Helldivers 2, but now I can't connect to the servers. It sucks. I want to play the game. Apparently, this is awful. This happened over the weekend. So Helldivers 2 wasn't supposed to be this popular. Like, the game developer is a smaller time game developer. And now it went virally popular, and so many people have bought the game, they just can't handle it. So literally, people buying the game now can't play it. They just can't. It won't let them. And so people are like, well, fuck this, and they're going and playing other games. That's actually bad, because when you're that popular, sometimes your overpopularity can lead to a level of failure, and it sounds like that's what's happening. Like, they just weren't equipped for this. So now they got hundreds of thousands of people trying to hit a server at a time, and it can't handle it. Disconnect, disconnect, disconnect. No one can play. So hopefully they get it under wraps. If it is so good of a game, it just sucks that happened. No, my wife is not interested in playing fighting games competitively. She likes playing them casually or, you know, something like that. Like Tekken, she liked the demo. The first day that it came out, we played it a lot. We played it like a ton of hours that day. The next week, we played it again. And then she played it like one more time. And she's like bored with it now. So it kind of sucks because she bought it. And I thought she would like it more. But that's kind of how it is. Like when she basically she did. Well, she almost beat the arcade mode, which is the one with the simulated arcades. And she played a few character story missions, which was interesting. And she wanted to try online. And as soon as she went online, she saw how online play is. She's like, eh. It's like, because this is going to be the end game of it. I don't like it. I was like, well, that's that, I guess, right? She's just not into it. She's not into competitive games like that. Clay JT, this has already been answered on the podcast. I'm not here to rehash the same things we've talked about a ton of times on the show, so I recommend you check out some podcasts from last week. If you want to hear my opinion on Xbox having some games go to PS5 and Switch. Good evening, Mark. Good to have you here. How you doing? Oh, Helldiver 2 has destroyed Suicide Squad. Helldiver 2 has sold way more than Suicide Squad. Basically, what happened is Helldivers 2 came out, and then Suicide Squad's dead. Like, anyone who was going to play Suicide Squad got Helldivers 2, and that's it. It's done. So Suicide Squad completely dead on arrival. I hate to know what's going to happen to that studio now. Rocksteady, that's not good. But yeah, it's done. It's dead. I'm playing both Rise of the Ronin and Dragon's Dogma 2. Do I have more interest in one or the other? No. No, we're not doing a drinking game on stream with my wife. That's stupid. How do you post a video for me on DSP Reacts? Well, you have to be a member of the submissions level or higher. Submissions level members get to post up on a community thread that's there all week. And everyone posts up. At the end of the week, I put those submissions into a actual playlist. And on the show, I literally hit random, shuffle. And then we just watch them in random order. If you become an ultra member on that channel, which is the biggest level of member supporter, you are guaranteed to have your video watched on the show once a week. So if you become an ultra member, you get 4 videos watched, 1 a week because it lasts a month. And that's its own separate community post that's for ultra members only. That's how it works over there. Have I ever watched True Detective? I owned the first season, but I could never finish it for whatever reason. I liked it. I just never finished it. I don't have it anymore, and I haven't watched the others. I know that there's 4 seasons out now, but no, I've never been into it. I don't even know what a CRPG is. Thoughts on playing other CRPGs because I've enjoyed Baldur's Gate 3. So you're saying that basically Baldur's Gate 3 is its own genre of RPG called CRPG? What does the C stand for? See, I don't know that. But anyway, if you're telling me Baldur's Gate 3 is the epitome of it, I probably wouldn't want to play other games. Like, I played Divinity 2. I got really bored of it. I probably would not want to continue with a game like that. If Baldur's Gate 3 is the best, then I just want to continue to play the best, because even Baldur's Gate 3 I have issue with, and I get bored, you know? So I'm glad that I have an interactive, engaging audience to help me with it, to keep me engaged in it. If I didn't have that, I literally would not have kept playing it. I would have gotten bored and stopped playing it by now. But yeah, like, I don't think so. Like, I think that newer games coming out that are following in the steps of Baldur's Gate 3 or other games in the series made by Larian, I would play, but I probably wouldn't go back and play older ones, no. That would be the equivalent of, you really like Skyrim, but if you go back to play Oblivion, you realize it's more outdated, and you're like, it's not for me. Like, I know that. I played Divinity 2, and I already know it's not for me, so I'm not going to then go try to play other games that are similar to Baldur's Gate that are older and just be disappointed. There's no point, right? Hidalgo did a super chat. He says, what are your top 3 narrative experiences in gaming? Once again, I'm not a top-ranking guy like this, okay? But if you're asking me, like, what's some of the best stories, I would say BioShock 1 definitely ranks up there. Probably one of the biggest twist moments I've ever had in a game, ever. And I wish that I could kind of go back and relive it, because I can't. Once you know the twist in the game, you're like, holy shit, right? I would probably say Silent Hill 2, because when the plot was finally explained and you realize what all the bosses and all the things are, you're like, oh my god, that's like a complete mind screwing. Like, that's really gross and nasty, but it's horror at the same time. I would definitely say The Walking Dead Season 1. Reason being, because The Walking Dead Season 1 was really one of the very first video games on YouTube that ever made me feel strong emotion. I actually cried at the end because the characters were so well written, and to see the end be so awful actually legit made me tear up and feel terrible, you know? So I'll just throw those 3 out there off the top of my head. That's all I'm going to say. Off the top of my head, those 3. Yeah, if there's ever another fishing game you guys want, I would be down for it. There just hasn't been one in years. You know, it was 2 years ago that we were doing the Bassmaster during the summer, and we made the hat and everything with the lures, and then it just died out. There's no other fishing games. I would be down for another fishing game if one came out, but there hasn't been any recently. So, okay, I received a $10 tip from Cody again. Thank you, Phil. Hope your hand gets better. Oh, are you talking about the carpal tunnel? Again, I'm in very early signs and stages of carpal tunnel. And I feel like if I keep doing things like using an exercise device like this and stretching and things, and I'm not overdoing it with games, it shouldn't be a massive thing. But undoubtedly, it's going to happen. Like, if I'm already seeing the signs of it at 41, as I get older, the next 10, 15 years, you know it's going to get worse and worse every year, right? So it's just an inevitability. You get older and these things happen. Like my dad, too. I know as he got older, his hands and things kind of got messed up. Are you retiring at 42 or 43? No. I might change up what I do. I might change up my formula. I might change up the format of content that I make. It might not be full-time gaming anymore, but I'm not quitting. I love this. I want to do this literally for as long as I can, as long as I'm capable of doing it, because I love this job. I've now been doing it full-time since 2011. So you took 13 years of my life. I've done this. I want to continue. How much do you have left in the tank? Oh, I got a lot more to go. I got a lot more to go, like I keep telling you guys. I feel like we haven't even begun in certain areas. And, mostly I do gaming. Yes, I delve into other topics every once in a while, but it's mostly gaming. There's so much more that we can explore and do together. here on streaming that I have not even really scratched the surface. That's why it's funny when you look at some other YouTubers and it's like, so they started off doing this thing, then that fell off, so then they jumped on the next trend, then that fell off, they jumped on the next trend, and that fell off, and now they're desperate and they don't know what to do. They have no content, right? So now they do what everyone else does. They bite other people's content. They just react to other people's content or whatever. I literally have only been doing gaming for 15 years and I'm still good. I think that says something, right? But now as I'm getting older and I choose to change, I think it might be time to do some changes. You know what I'm saying? For your final stream, will you end the stream with your cowboy hat on the chair and your original vest laying on the chair? I have no idea. I'm really, again, you're acting like for some reason this is the end. This is not the end of anything. In fact, like I said, one of the major reasons why I decided that I did not want to do this documentary with Mike Klum this year is because I feel like a documentary like that needs to be done at the end. Like when you're on your last legs, when you're on the ropes, when this is what your final statement to the world is going to be, then you do a documentary like that. I feel like my story is right in the middle. We're not even close to the end of the finish line yet. So why would I make like a documentary that feels like a desperate thing when it's not at all? I think that's what a lot of people were misunderstanding because they saw that Boogie documentary that Mike Klum did, and everyone was like, wow, that totally was a cry for help, a cry for like, look at how pathetic I am. Please feel bad for me and help me. And why are you doing that documentary? I was like, that's not what my documentary is going to be. And people were like, well, then what was the point? What are you doing it for? Because you're good then, right? I was like, you know what? You guys are kind of right. I don't see the point. Why am I going to kill myself to do this documentary now when it's not needed? Right? So there you go. DC, good evening. He's got a haiku involving rain. Rain cloud covers skies. The relaxing, calming rain, water sound soothes souls. We got rain outside right now. So it's a very pertinent haiku. Thank you, DC. Tub says, Dave the Diver and Dredge are pretty fun fishing games that you missed. Dredge has horror elements. But they're not fishing games. They're both other kinds of games with fishing as an element. It's not sit there and relax with fishing. Do you see my point? Like, what were the two things of fishing that people like the most? Me fishing in Minecraft, which literally you're focused on just chill fishing with this nice relaxing rain sound coming down, or doing an actual fishing game like Bassmaster. You're talking about like survival games and other games that have a fishing element. That's very different. You see the difference? Starting Infinite Wealth now, Pizza Box. Good luck. I don't know. Going from Guide and right into Infinite Wealth is a ton. Even I needed a little bit of a break. Mark said, I've never been to America. Trump versus Biden is interesting. I would love to hear your talk about politics, and you can still play games in between. I know. We'll see what happens this year. I'm considering it, but I don't know yet. I don't know if I'm ready to do it yet. Nightman says, I respect you for not doing that documentary. That was probably the best decision. For now, I think it was the best decision. Again, I'm not saying never. I think there might be a time in my life where the documentary makes a hell of a lot of sense. I just don't think it's now, right? Would I try PGA golf? I'm not really into golf. I don't like it. I've never really played games of it, so probably not. Haseo says, why do all pirate games fail when launched that Black Flag is like the best ever? Because Black Flag took a formula that worked from Assassin's Creed and combined it with pirate elements to make a unique experience. But it's not that they don't work. Like, for example, Sea of Thieves, when it launched, didn't have content. When they eventually tweaked the game and added a bunch of content, apparently the game got great, and now it has its own community who's really into it. But they launched it bare bones, and that was their mistake, okay? Skull and Bones isn't even a video game. Skull and Bones is a mobile game that they released on console and PC to pretend like it's a full game. It's not at all. It's an unfinished mobile game. It's really pathetically bad. And they should be ashamed of themselves, except I think that they wanted to cancel it, which is what they tried to do many times. But they were roped into releasing it because of the Singapore government, because they took a grant there to develop it. So I think they had to do it no matter what. Seriously. I think they were screwed into that. So let's see here. Matthew Reed, if you could rephrase, because if you read your statement, there's a big grammatical error, so I can't understand what you're saying. If you rephrase that statement, maybe I'll answer it. Tito Man says, do you consider Zelda games to be therapeutic? When I feel down, I play Zelda and it helps. Oh, to some extent. Like, for me, playing a game like Super Mario World or maybe like Zelda, Link to the Past, the classics, those could be considered therapeutic. Any game that you played a ton, especially a game from your youth, and you feel more comfortable playing it because you've played it so much, is very more relaxing and therapeutic than, say, a brand new one. Like a new Zelda, I wouldn't say the new Zelda's therapeutic, you know, but a classic Zelda game is to me. Lizard Man, as I've already explained, which I guess I if I'm to understand it correctly, okay? People ask me to, will I check out Kick, this other rival streaming website, right? Because let's all be real here. There is no growth on YouTube for streaming at all. It will never happen. Like, when you're on YouTube streaming, you are who you are, and there is no way to get noticed. There's no way to branch out. Streaming on YouTube is stagnant. It always has been and always will be. Since the day they launched their streaming platform, they don't work on it, they don't promote it, they don't try. There's no way to grow on YouTube as a streamer. I've accepted that, okay? Like, I know that, right? Twitch, there's potential for growth, but Twitch continues to go down this toilet spinning spiral of bad choices and awful takes and things that are terrible. I would never go back to Twitch because I can't monetize my content there. They won't let me, and they won't explain why, so why would I give them the time of day? So then people are like, well, what about Kick? This is a new competitor. Number one, Kick's business model is not sustainable. Kick is focused on paying people a ton of money, but that they're not generating the revenue to keep that business model self-regenerating, or what's the word? Self-recycling, right? It's never going to work. It's just a bunch of investors threw money in it, and so they're paying all the creators, but there's no model there that's going to work long-term, in my opinion. Number two, Kick has no moderation. So someone like me going to Kick, who has a hate group who stalked me all over the internet, the moment I stream on Kick, the entire chat will be racist comments, sexist comments, insults about me, doxing people, swastikas, penises, and every possible kind of thing that you would never want to see. That's all you're going to see in the chat there. So it's either I stream on Kick with no chat, or I stream on Kick with the worst chat possible. What's the point? The whole point of streaming is interactivity. I need a chat to interact with all of you, correct? So, there's no point. It's literally until they actually make their site manageable for real professionals rather than just fucking kids fucking around over there, it's not possible to do anything on Kick. It's a waste of time. So, okay. Let's see here. It's a moron. I can ignore the moron. There we go. Here's a $3 tip. Came in from Mulch Man. Please promote usage of mulch to fight spring weeds. There you go. I assume mulch is pretty good. I don't know. I've never actually used it because I don't really have a garden or anything. So I don't know about the true benefits of mulch. I can only hear about it from third parties with vested interests. So, but thank you, Mulch Man, for the $3 tip. I appreciate that. Rumble is the better choice. See, I don't know. Rumble, I thought you can't stream on Rumble. I thought that Rumble was trying to be like a competitor to YouTube with video sharing. But can you stream on Rumble? I don't know anything about that. See, here's the thing. I've already been there, done this with Blip. So if I were to do content, like political content, and I went to Rumble, I would only put the political content on there. Stuff that I do with gaming would never work because playlists and so you need to have functional playlists, functional organization when it comes to your stuff if you're doing gameplay. And Blip didn't even have that. Like, Blip didn't even have freaking playlists. So good luck watching a playthrough on Blip TV, 11 years ago, 12 years ago when they existed, because you couldn't watch anything in order. It was just you had to find the random part of a playthrough. Even if Rumble didn't even have that, it would be fine because it would be like the videos would be, okay, tonight we're going to discuss this topic in politics. This is going on, here's the date. So then you can just search by that, right? It's not like it's an ongoing narrative of a story where you need to have it in a playlist and you're uploading 1,000 videos. I wouldn't be doing that. But my concern would be the streaming. That would be the streaming. Is it viable to stream over there? Can you stream over there? Because I need to have interactivity with an audience, or what's the point, right? Okay. Really? Rumble is a streaming site now? Okay, see, I didn't even know that. I did not even know that they had streaming capability. I haven't been over there to check it out. What are my overall thoughts on aging and getting older? Are you afraid of it or do you embrace it? Both. Am I afraid of getting older? Yeah, I am. Because as I get older, I can't do the things that I used to do. My mental capacity depletes. My physical capacity depletes. Things that I used to be able to do, I can't do anymore. I don't have the energy. Or I have pains. I have problems like my back. I know my back's just going to get worse as I get older, and I'm going to continue to have issues with numbness and shooting pain and problems and, and other things as well. So everyone's afraid of it. Everyone's afraid of their own mortality, I feel, right? No, unless you have a belief system where you believe that you're just like immortal and you're going to keep going on and on and on. But for me, yeah, I am afraid of mortality. Of course I am. At the same time, I am embracing it. If you haven't noticed, have I dyed my beard since it went mostly white? Am I doing anything about my receding hairline? Do I really give two shits? No, I don't. It's something that's natural, that happens to everyone. So why freak out about it, right? In fact, use it to your advantage. Use my experience being 41, about to be 42 years old, to relay things that have happened in my life and help others, right? As opposed to acting like I'm some kid, right? It'd be pretty stupid. No, I've never seen the show The Bear. I've heard about it on social media, but I've never seen an episode of it, nor do I know what it's about. So. See, I don't know. Mark says other sites can't compete with Google, YouTube, Amazon, and Twitch. They're two of the richest corporations in the world. Although you're correct, what people are finding is that, sadly, you can't just do certain kinds of content. Like, political content is very tough to do on Twitch or YouTube right now. That politics is such a hotbed of contention right now in the United States that sometimes people, like, take too much offense or say you're doing something you're not, and the next thing you know, that's the end of it, you know? And that's why there are these other places that are popping up that seem to be the better places for that, because they don't really care what, you know, what side you're on, what you say. They let you speak your mind on politics. So, as opposed to, oh God forbid, on YouTube, you say something that can be misconstrued and, oh, you're trying to spread mass information and that could hurt people. Flag your video, demonetize your video, flag your channel, demonetize your channel, block your channel. Do you really want to deal with that? Right? Like, what the frick? It's supposed to be about freedom of speech. You can't have freedom of speech on certain topics, right? Right now, I could say anything I want about a video game. But God forbid I say something about politics that someone doesn't agree with, right? Like, that's just how it is. So, that's what I mean. Going elsewhere for that stuff probably makes a lot more sense. No, I probably would never grow out my beard because it bothers me. Unless I could find a way to get it to not bother me. The times I've tried to grow out my beard fully, it itched too much and really, really bothered me. And because of that, I didn't like it, and I ended up shaving it off. So maybe there is a way to get it so it doesn't make your whole face itch, but I couldn't stand it when I tried to grow it out. No, I would not eat a Carolina Reaper pepper on stream. I don't do pranks or dares on stream because I'm not an idiot. I have actual content to share with the world with meaning rather than torturing myself and looking like a jackass. I don't do chair sniffing. I don't suck cucumbers and kiss cocks. You know, I don't say absolutely ridiculous things about gender and race and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to do any of that shit because people watch my content regardless without stunts. So there you go. You have to get past the itchy stage. It lasts a week or two, and then it gets better. Oh, see, I didn't even know that. No, Twitch is the absolute worst. Twitch, unless you absolutely positively are 100% in the mindset of the people who run Twitch, you cannot do anything on Twitch outside of just, like, pansy level gaming. That's it. God forbid you're not completely in line with their mindset. They just say shit you didn't even do, right? Remember, they suspended me for a day, and they said I said a racist thing. I never said it. And then they actually apologized to me and unsuspended my channel. Just because well, fuck you. No, you're not going to shut down my business because you're an idiot and you fucking don't, you should be a moron about it. No, you're not going to do that, right? Imagine that. Think of it this way. And I know, again, everyone always makes fun of me because it's always a restaurant or food analogy, but it's the equivalent of this. The health inspector comes to your restaurant and closes the doors saying, I suspect that you have a health code violation inside, so I'm closing your restaurant. They close your restaurant for a whole day, so now everyone thinks that you have health code violations. They go inside the restaurant, they find nothing, oh, sorry about that, and then they reopen your restaurant. But yeah, but you closed me for a day. The bad stigma is already associated with my restaurant, or because why did you suspend me if I did nothing wrong? That's literally what Twitch does. They suspend you saying you did something wrong, then they investigate, realize you didn't, and then they undo their mistake. That's the most unprofessional thing you could do. If a health inspector did that, they would probably get sued and lose their job. But you can't do that to Twitch, because Twitch has all these clauses and shit in there to try to protect them, right? So I'm not going to deal with that nonsense. I'm not. I'm not dealing with unprofessional companies. Tommy Salami, you're talking about something completely different, and you have no idea what you're talking about, so you should shut up. That's a completely different issue. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now. I received a $1.30 tip from a troll, so I ignore the troll, and the troll can kiss my ass. Okay. Watching DSP Throwback, is there anything that I would go back and change about myself, knowing what I know now? See, here's the thing about, as they say, hindsight is 20/20, right? Do you think that anyone in like 2010 had any inkling that there was going to be a complete cultural shift, and that the things that were considered okay in that time frame within just like 5 or more years were going to be considered taboo and not allowed? I don't think anyone saw that coming, right? Take a look at comedians from the 90s and 2000s and how they talk today. They're like, this is a crazy world. Everyone's just fucking cancelable and it's all bullshit. This is supposed to be comedy. Why does anyone take everything so seriously? It's supposed to be joking around and no one takes offense. And it's the opposite now. Everyone takes offense at everything, right? You got to understand that when I did the commentary back then, literally no one was offended. Everyone got the joke and laughed and thought it was funny. How could I have been one of the top gaming YouTubers if that wasn't the case? And I was. I was ranked in the top. I was one of the top Machinima partners at the time. How can you say that? You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a culture shift that no one foresaw. So it's like, well, do I regret what I did back then? No, not really. Now, here's the thing. If there are people who over the years I did offend, it wasn't intentional, but you know that sometimes when you say stuff, you could actually offend someone unintentionally. And maybe there are things that I said back then that people did take offense at because they didn't understand that it was a joke and they thought I was being serious. That sucks. You know, that's kind of just an inevitability when you're someone who's a public-facing persona. The things you say and do sometimes have impacts you don't expect. Like, I'll tell you right now, again, I always bring this up as the example. I used to always rag on Minecraft, right? I used to always say, oh, Minecraft's just for kiddies, for dumbasses. There's nothing of value in that game. It looks like a kiddie game. Look, it's all pixelated and shit. Who would like that game, right? And I did that for years and years. Ignorant statements about Minecraft. Not knowing, not playing it, you know. Then years later, I actually tried the game, and I realized the game was incredibly good. I was like, wow, this game is way more than what it looks like on surface level. I was completely misunderstanding what this game is. I ended up playing it for like a year and a half. And loving the game, and that's on me that I was so ignorant. But when I was younger, I didn't understand that what I said had weight, and that people listened, and it could have a negative impact, and people would care about things and be offended by things I said. I didn't get that at all. I've learned over the years that now what I say is very important to make sure that it's weighed and balanced, and I'm seeing from another person's perspective. I want to be a better person when I say things publicly, because I know that I'm under the microscope, and what I say gets echoed and resonated and trumpeted out there times 10,000 because of all the people who repost my content everywhere, and of course spin it in a way that's not what I actually said, right? So anyway, do I regret what I did back then for commentary? No, I don't regret it. But certainly if you knew the future, right? Like, for example, things I absolutely would have changed. Number one, I would not have reacted negatively to This Is How You Don't Play. I would have watched them myself. I would have literally watched them, reacted to them, and laughed at them. And if that had happened from day one, people would not hate me today. But what happened is it became fun to hate on me because I was the guy who was so angry about it that you loved seeing it, right? Then I also would have adopted direct capture live streaming earlier. I would have become an interactive personality earlier. I took way too long to care about the fact that I had a live audience that is a hot source of input, interaction, interactivity. That level makes the content better. It really does, and it makes it more natural. Look at this. Right now, I've been doing this for 45 minutes. People are liking it. People are contributing. People are going to watch this on demand and enjoy it after the fact. I didn't have to script anything. I don't have to do stupid sexual jokes and dumb comments and everything all night. We could just have fun having a real conversation. This is so much better than the content that I used to put out that was just camera at a TV, literally filled dead air 99% of the time I'm playing a game and talk out of my ass. It's just better, okay? But that's the point I'm making, is back then you didn't know that. There was no track record, there was no history, there was no examples to follow to see what was right and what was wrong to do. You know, people out there say, oh, Phil has failed for 10 straight years. I don't think I failed. I just think that I didn't know what to do that would work. And I wanted to be true to myself. And because of that, I made decisions that in a lot of cases, yeah, they didn't pan out well, right? But at the same time, would I have changed the things that I did back in the day, like to not do that kind of commentary or whatever? I don't think that it was intended in a way that you could say, well, wow, Phil was a real hateful person back then. You know, what a shame. No, I don't think so. I don't think people even say that. I think people look back and they recognize that I was trying to be funny and no one was offended back then, right? I don't think that's the case. But there are definitely things I would have changed to have constant growth and go with the times rather than being stagnant and being very stubborn to change. And definitely I would have reacted way more positively and gotten the joke with people criticizing me and doing things like, this is how you don't play. Now I mostly do that these days, but it's too late because now it's become such a hateful meme to just crap on Phil and everything he does is bad that it doesn't matter what I say and do. No one really cares, right? Okay. Hold on, I gotta ban an idiot who's saying really dumb things. For the record, I just should bring this up since people are so stupid. I should bring this up. When someone speaks on a topic and has a lot to say, that's not a rant. It's just not. Like, if you ask me a question, I'm like, oh, I have a really interesting answer, an insightful answer with a lot of information to give you about it. That's not a rant. Look it up in the dictionary, stupid. I mean, it's so dumb. A rant is implying like an uncontrolled, almost like nonstop stream of consciousness blabbing that isn't really going anywhere, right? That's a rant. I'm ranting and raving, full of emotion, angry about something, right? That's not what... When someone's just answering a question nicely and giving you a lot of information because they feel like, oh, I can actually add a lot to this one. That's not a rant. You're an idiot if you call it that. You're giving it a negative association because you don't understand the word. So look it up and don't say it in my chat or else you're not going to be in my chat like that joker right there. This is moron. Okay. Let's see here. I received a tip, but I want to check on something because I think we have an imposter. I can't tell. I can't tell if that's an imposter or not, so I'm going to leave it alone. I got a $4 tip from Kirk. It appears you sigh and you get mad every time I support. Should I go back to the chat room? What does that mean? Kirk, I'm not sighing every time you support. I have no idea what you're talking about. Half the time when you're tipping now, you say something that I don't understand. I can't even like address it because I don't even know what you're saying. You know what I mean? Like, you said something earlier. I was like, huh? Well, thanks for the tip, but I have no clue what this even means. So I don't know how I'm supposed to respond differently to that. I really don't. I don't know what else to say. I wish that I could respond in a different way, but if I don't understand you, I can't really respond in a positive way, can I? Right? Now, in that case, I understood what you said, but I disagree with you. No, I'm not sighing every time that you contribute. I think what it is you basically, you backed yourself into a hole. You got your situation where you said so many stupid things in the chat, people don't like you anymore, so now they don't want you in the chat. There's a target on your face, right? Right here on your forehead, there's a target. And now you say stuff, and now you always feel like there's a negative association. I don't think there is when you tip and stuff, but people are going to act that way regardless because the target you now have on your head because of the things you've already said in the past, right? That's how it goes, man. All right. What else would you guys like to talk about tonight? Actually, we're almost an hour in, if you can believe it. Time has flown. It didn't feel like we've been doing this for an hour, but we have been. Kyler says, I finished God of War Ragnarok. I love the story combat side quests, but I don't like the Berserker fights. To each their own. The Berserker fights are basically the next level of challenge, and a lot of people like that high level of challenge. You know what I'm saying? But not everyone. It's not for everyone, right? It's definitely not for everyone. Clay JT, there is no way I would ever answer that stupid question. Sorry. That was a really dumb one. No, I do not meditate. Not in any formal way, anyway. Destiny wanted to talk to you before. He would be a good person to get political content advice from. He's been doing it for over a decade. Everything I hear about Destiny basically is like drama, 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 bad idea. First of all, he's incredibly leftist, right? I'm not incredibly left or right at all. I stay away from that. I don't want to be one way or the other. What I've heard, he's like all the way to the left, right? Super left. The first interaction I ever had with Destiny, okay? I'm sitting here on a Twitch stream many, many years ago, and I was playing Prey. Anyone remember that game, Prey? Which was, it was the game that was between, like, Dishonored 2. Well, it was before Dishonored 2, right? I liked it. I thought Prey was an outstanding game, right? So I'm sitting here, and again, I know nothing at all about this guy. I never heard of him before. I literally have no clue who he is. And I'm just sitting here playing Prey. And people are coming into my chat on Twitch, and they're like, yo, Destiny wants to come on your stream and talk to you. And I'm like, who the fuck is Destiny? Like, what are you talking about? So I'm ignoring them. I'm timing them out. I don't want to hear this. Then there's more people coming to my chat. Yo, Destiny's talking about you right now. He wants to come on your stream. I was like, what are you talking about? Who's Destiny? Why does he want to talk about me? He wants to talk to you because he heard that you said it's a buyer's market for cars. And he wants to come debate you on that and tell you it's not. What? I'm a gameplay streamer. I'm sitting here playing Prey for an audience of hundreds. They want to see me play the game. You want me to pause my stream and have someone come on I never heard of to debate about if it's a buyer's market for buying automobiles in the United States? You're serious about this? They were serious. There was like dozens of people coming into my chat bothering me about this. Oh, we're fans of Destiny. He wants to. I was like, no, I have no fucking interest. And if you keep coming in, I'm going to ban you. And they did. They kept coming in and saying so. I banned a ton of people that day, right? So all of a sudden now, I was like, oh, see, Phil's a Destiny hater. Phil doesn't like Destiny. Phil's a, I don't know anything about the fucking guy. This is the first example of any interaction I ever had with this man. Apparently he's trying to be intrusive to my business and my content with a baloney topic. Has nothing to do with anything, right? It'd be one thing, oh, another streamer wants to talk to you about games or something. All right, maybe I'd be interested in that. No, I want to talk to you about buying cars, right? Like, no. How about no? How about that's incredibly dumb, right? I want nothing to do with that. So then, over the years, you hear he always talks about me negatively. Well, I don't know anything about him. I literally know nothing about the man, right? But, oh, yeah, he's ragging on you again. Did you hear he said this about you again? Did you hear he mentioned you again negatively? No, he's just like everyone else. Everyone likes to name drop Darkside Phil in a negative way. So I don't think about it. I don't care about it. People just do it. It's the common meme joke. Brag on Darkside Phil about something today, right? So the only other time that really I had a serious interaction with him was not last year, but the year before that, when I was seriously looking to do an interview with someone who was like a professional interviewer. Because so many YouTubers were ragging on me for shit. And I was like, well, let's actually have an interview where we can talk about stuff, in a back and forth environment. I think it would be a lot more fair to do that rather than everyone just crapping on me in their own video content, right? And Destiny was one of the people who was interested in interviewing me. And everyone had said, oh, didn't you know that he had interviewed LTG, right? So I was like, oh, okay. So I'll look into that. So I watched maybe 5 minutes of Destiny interviewing LTG. And all I could notice the entire interview was that Destiny was not paying attention to LTG whenever he talked. He would go and play a game on the side. And I was so confused. I was like, if you're going to interview someone, why would you have a game open? Why would you be doing that? Don't you want to give your guest your undivided attention, right? And that way you're really letting it absorb what they're saying and you can respond intelligently. It actually blew my mind that he was doing that. And I was like, is there something here, an underlying thing I'm not aware of or something? So come to find out, I did talk about this on my stream because people had said, will you consider doing an interview with Destiny? And I was like, I was really turned off by that interview style that he did with LTG. Like, I never would want to do that because it just felt like it was weird. And apparently people said, oh, that's because he actually has, problems, focusing. He has mental problems where he can't just focus on one thing. His mind, goes all over. So by doing that side game, actually distracts or lets him focus better or something like that. And I was like, okay, I guess that makes sense. It didn't seem like he was trying to be offensive to LTG by doing that. Like, he wasn't ignoring him. I just found it odd. I was like, I'll be honest with you. I think that would drive me nuts. You know what I'm saying? Like, I honestly think that if I did an interview with someone and that whole time that I'm trying to talk to them, they're over here doing something else, it would probably, like, totally drive me nuts. And that's not on them. That's on me. That's just my own thing. Like, if I'm having a conversation with you, I want to be talking direct to you, going back and forth, you know, having intelligent back and forth. Not you're distracted over here doing something else. You know, same thing. You're talking to someone, all of a sudden they answer their phone, they start talking on their phone. No, I don't want that either, right? I want people to be focused on what they're doing, right? So, that being said, it turned me on. I said, I'm not interested in doing an interview with the guy, right? So, basically what happened was he had actually reached out to me, interested in doing an interview, and I said, no, I'm not going to do it. So then, on one of his shows, he was talking about it, and I heard it. I heard the segment, okay? It's not like this is, I heard this third party. I heard the segment. It was clipped from his show, and I heard it. He literally admits that if he did actually interview me, that it was going to be a trap interview where they were going to pull all kinds of stupid pranks. Like, for example, I'd be talking, and all of a sudden they would start playing clips of pro wrestlers talking about mobile games and shit like that and dumb shit. So basically, he would turn it into a joke. Instead of it being like a real interview, respectful thing, he actually just wanted to do like a big joke thing and get popularity off of it. Look, he's the guy who fucking punked Darkside Phil, you know, treated him like shit or whatever. So after I heard that, I was like, well, guess what? I mean, that I lost all respect for the guy at that point. It's like, why would I want anything to do with this man who's going to be a dick to me, basically? Like, he literally, I publicly admitted it. And they all treated it like a joke segment on his show. Like, haha, yeah, that would be great if you did that. Ha 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 ha. Like, yeah, ha ha ha. Well, fuck you. You're an idiot. If you actually had any semblance of being professional, you wouldn't say that on your show after, because the people are going to call you out for it later, right? So you already admitted it. So why would I ever want to do anything with you moving forward? So now I know you stay away from that kind of person, right? And that's that. Like, since then, I don't involve myself with any of that shit. I don't even know if he even mentions me anymore. I ignore it all. So that's it. I don't give a shit about the guy. He can have his own life, do whatever the fuck he wants. I don't give two shits about him. You know, I have nothing to do with him, nor do I have any interest in him. Dwarflet, nobody cares. You can stop saying that in the chat now. Nobody cares. Stop spamming. Okay. Do I think I was born with a natural talent as a gamer, or was it cultivated over years of experience? I had a natural affinity for certain kinds of games, all right, like fighting games, but no, I didn't have like a ton of great skill at games in general. That came from practice. Like, when I started as a YouTuber, go watch the content of me, an early YouTuber, and I'm terrible. At most games I play, I'm terrible. Only the fighting games was I actually doing really good. Outside of that, I was doing awful at everything else. I really was. And everyone liked that. That was the joke. Phil's just kind of the Joe average guy. He's terrible at most games he plays, but he still makes entertaining content, so let's all watch his stuff and laugh at him, right? And I was okay with that. But now, after me having done this, you know, full time for 13 years, and actually doing it as a hobby 2.5 years before that, so you're going on 16 years as a YouTuber, I do feel like overall my skill has improved. You know, I can jump into generally any kind of a FromSoft Soulsborne style game and do pretty decently at it. Not great top level, but I get my bearings right away. You know, take a look at Lies of P. I think that was a good example of, here's a universe they just created, but because I know kind of the ins and outs of how FromSoft works, I'm able to jump into a game like that and do pretty good at it, right? Or now that you see I'm actually putting effort into games like Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8, I'm able to actually play them at a pretty decent level. I'm sure there's still genres out, like driving. I never got driving. I've never driven any in a game well. That's, you know, stealth. Very rarely. I think that the one or two stealth games I ever did good at was Metal Gear Solid 5 and some of the recent Hitmans. But in general, stealth's not my thing. I find it very boring. But in general, yeah, my skill level has greatly increased being a full-time gamer over the last 15 years, for sure. You know, than when it was just a hobby that I did every once in a while casually before then. You know, it's going to be a lot worse if that's the case, correct? Okay. Klein, I don't know. By the way, you're now banned because, again, you're an idiot, and you said that there was a rant. There literally has not been a rant yet on this stream. So since you said it, now you're banned too, you dumbass. Okay. So I don't know what you mean, Klein. Says any chances for a classic Phil stream? You mean like what we're doing every Sunday night now on the Throwback channel? We just did one on Sunday night, Heavy Rain. We're probably doing another one this Sunday. I don't know what else you're talking about, right? Okay. All right, I think this is actually a good spot because I only do hour-long videos. I don't want to make this be a 2-hour video. I think it's too long. So I'm going to split the part. But there's going to be a part 2. We're going to do this for another hour. All right. And I want to say thank you to those who are here chilling, for those who've supported. I hope you guys are enjoying. Like, if people are enjoying this, I'm glad. It's hard to read if people are enjoying or not. But it seems like we've got a lot of people, and people seem to be hanging and talking and enjoying. So I would say tonight's going well, and we got a whole another hour, right, to go. So, all right, let's split the part here. I'll stretch my legs, do a little bit of a break, and go from there. All right, so this is part 1 of Chill with Phil. I hope you're liking it, and there'll be another hour coming. I hope you'll check that out too if you're watching this on demand. If you're here on stream, just chill, hang out with me for a minute or two, and then we're gonna get back to recording and more questions. Okay? All right, awesome.